Mmm, tickety boo, how do you do? Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Heather and as always I'm reading with a vengeance and I hope you are too. Big love to all you lovelies who keep coming back, and if you're new to my channel, very warm welcome to you. I hope everybody's doing well. So I'm going to try something new. I honestly don't know how this video is going to turn out. This is kind of a seat of my pants. I was in a little bit of a recording slump because of life getting in the way, and I didn't do a TBR video, so I just wanted to try something new. We'll see how it goes. If you've watched one of my previous recent videos, you know that I just got a new job working as a bookseller at an independent bookstore, and I'm having a great time. And one of the perks to that job is that I have access to lots of advanced reader copies. And as a matter of fact, it's required for each of the booksellers to read and review at least one arc per month. But we can read as many as we want. And I looked at our shelf, which is chock-a-block full of books that are going to be published from now until, I think they have books that are going to be published in December. So all that's to say that I just wanted to share a little mini haul before I get going with the bulk of the video, just for fun. So the two arcs that I picked off the shelf at work. This one is No Two Persons by Erica Bauermeister. I just brought this up. This was in my most recent new books new book releases that I'm excited about that are being published in May. And this is one of the ones that I showcased. So I grabbed that one, so I'll be able to hopefully get to that in May. So each time a publisher sends an arc to a bookstore or I think to anybody else, there's a note from the publisher talking a little bit about the book and when it's going to be published. And sometimes, if not all the time, there's usually a little note by the author. And I'm just going to read the little note that comes with the arc for this one. Oops, sorry, I just kicked my camera. Dear readers, there is a saying, no two persons ever read the same book. When I began writing novels, I discovered the truth of that statement. Every reader saw my stories in their own way. It was occasionally disconcerting, but always fascinating, and I loved how a book could create a common space where people could disagree with curiosity rather than controversy. We may all see different meanings in a book, but we all share the magical experience of reading. What would it be like, I wonder, to turn that experience into a book itself? A novel that would start with the creation of a fictional book and then follow it out into the world, viewing it through the eyes of a variety of readers. A freediver, a homeless teenager, a bookseller looking for love, a widower racked by grief, an exiled actor, a literary agent and her assistant, strangers to each other connected by the experience of reading a book called Theo, and interwoven as well in ways they may never know. No Two Persons was my port in the pandemic storm. Every morning I went down to my writing studio and these characters entered my heart, filled my mind and imagination. I hope they will do the same for you in all the ways you may see them. So, I'm super excited I grabbed this. The other book that I grabbed off the shelf, I couldn't have snatched quicker. All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. And if you don't already know, S.A. Cosby wrote Razorblade Tears and Blacktop Wasteland, both of which I absolutely loved. And this is his new book that's going to be published in June. So I grabbed this one and I'm hoping to read it and review it for the publisher before it comes out. Just a quick blurb is, after 3 years of working as an FBI agent, Titus Crown returns home to Charon County, land of moonshine and cornbread, fistfights and honeysuckle. Seeing his hometown struggling with a bigoted police force inspires him to run for sheriff. He wins and becomes the first black sheriff in the history of the county. Then a year to the day after his election, a young black man is fatally shot by Titus's deputies. Titus pledges to follow the truth wherever it leads, but no one expected he would unearth a serial killer who has been hiding in plain sight, haunting the dirt lanes and woodland clearings of Charon. So this one I'm not going to be able to get to fast enough. And then the other book I'm definitely going to be reading in May, Sea Change by Gina Chung. This one was selected for my new book club that I joined. I found a book club that is local to the town that I live in, but this is the first book of the book club. So I will definitely be reading it, and it already was on my TBR. And as a matter of fact, I believe I also showcased this one in one of my new releases that I'm excited about videos, because this was just recently published. This one has remarkably bright creatures vibes to it, and I'm here for it. I think my book club meets somewhere mid-month, so I'll be reading that in the first half of May. Other than those books, which other than my book club book, the other two are mood reads because I can't think of any mood that I would be in that I wouldn't want to read those other two books. In one of my recent videos, I talked about May being a complete mood reading month for me because the past few months have been filled with Booktube Prize reading and Women's Prize for Fiction reading. I just wanted to pick up books that I felt like I wanted to read at the moment. And I also discovered that some people consider May mood reading May month. So perfect, right? But I did want to try to pick a book based on the first line. I saw another booktuber do a battle of the first lines, and it just looks like it's so much fun. And so I just thought I'd give it a go. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if you like it. We'll see if I like filming it and see if it's a way that I add to my TBR video. Who knows? We'll see. I'm just in the mood to try new things. So anyways, I'm going to grab some newer books that I've acquired. So that's what I mean by a little mini haul. There were those 3 books that I mini hauled, and then I'm going to show you a couple of other things that have come into my possession in one way or another. Sea Change, I actually ordered from Pango, but the bookseller on Pango was having a sale, so I ended up picking 2 other books from her site, and I think I got free shipping or something like that. And those other 2 books were Christopher Moore's Coyote Blue. I have read a couple of his books. They're hilarious. They're usually parodies. They're semi-fantasy. And then I also picked up A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. I've been wanting to read this book since I read last year's Women's Prize for Fiction winner, The Book of Form and Emptiness. I got a really good deal on this book. It's brand new. The spine is not even cracked. I picked up those 3 books from Pango, probably less than $30 total. And then a few other books that I have picked up. Moving to a new town, I always like to check out the bookstores in the area, of course. Even though my book shopping has been curtailed significantly in the past year and a half, I did pick up some new books in the past couple of months in checking out new bookstores. And those books are Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sukagawa, Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham, and Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare. So I'm going to read the first line of these books. I'm going to determine a winner, and the winner of it is going to be what I read after my book club book. What do you think? You might be asking yourself at this point, well, what about that stack of books that's sitting right next to you, most of which being library books? Yeah, what about that stack, Heather? These 2 books were selected in my April TBR video, and here they sit. Actually, this one was, but the Leanne Moriarty one, this one's 9 Perfect Strangers. This one ended up being one of the categories that was picked was favorite author, and I thought it was going to be Jane Harper's Exiles, and I continue to wait for that in my Libby app. I think I have 5 weeks left to wait for that one. So that one didn't work out, and I knew it wasn't going to work out after 2 weeks of waiting. So I just picked one off my shelf, and I picked a Leanne Moriarty one. Well, anyways, here they sit. These other library books I've checked out twice now, and they continue to sit here. And they're due back May 8th, I think, so there's no way I'm going to get to them. So they just sat here for a month out of other readers' hands, I'm ashamed to say. And they are Women Talking by Miriam Taves, which I'm super excited to read for a number of reasons. They made a movie of this. I believe it was nominated for Best Picture this past Oscar season. And it's got Frances McDormand in it, who's one of my all-time favorite actresses. Plus, Taves wrote Fight Night, which was one of my favorite books from last year. Absolutely love her writing. Yes, I'll probably be checking this out again. Then we have The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Amizi. I loved Akwaeke Amizi's Pet, and so this has been on my TBR since I read that. Here we have 48 Clues into the Disappearance of My Sister by Joyce Carol Oates. This was on one of my new releases that I'm excited about videos. I'm still excited, I promise. This one's going to have to go back, and I'll have to try to check it out again later. And finally, Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian. I enjoyed having you here, but you're going to have to go home. All right, let's get started with this first line battle, shall we? We're going to start with A Flicker in the Dark. This is a YouTube, basically internet darling. Lots of people talking about it. I think it started off as a Book of the Month Club book. This was her debut novel. Okay, debut novel. So just a quick blurb in case you're not familiar with this book. When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels is out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. So when a local teenage girl goes missing, and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or, for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? Let's look at the first line, shall we? My throat tickles. I'm going to leave the peanut gallery quiet. I want to know why, but we'll see how much. Okay, what's up next? Clown in a Cornfield. I saw this on another booktuber's channel. I think multiple booktuber channels, and they all loved it. I think it's a terrible title. I love the cover, though. I mean, that is creepy. Winner of the 2020 Bram Stoker Award for Superior Achievement in a Young Adult Novel. I did not know this was young adult. Eek! Young adult is hit or miss for me. Here's the blurb. Quinn Maybrook just wants to make it to graduation, but she might not make it to morning. When Quinn and her father moved to a tiny town with a weird clown for a mascot, they were looking for a fresh start. But ever since the town's only factory shut down, Kettle Springs has been cracked in half. I see what they did there. Most of the town believes that the kids are to blame. After all, the juniors and seniors at Kettle Springs High are the ones who threw the party where Arthur Hill's daughter died. They're the ones who set the abandoned factory on fire and who spend all their time posting pranks on YouTube. They have no respect and no idea what it means to work hard. For the kids, it's the other way around. And now Kettle Springs is caught in a constant battle between old and new, tradition and progress. It's a fight that looks like it will destroy the town until one homicidal clown with a pork pie hat and a red nose decides to end it for good. Because if your opponents all die, you win the debate by default. Okay. Little blurb on the front says, the kids are not all right. I like that. Okay, first line. First line, first line, first line. Oh, creepy. Here's the inside. That's creepy. Do we want a prologue first line or do we want a chapter 1 first line? What are the rules? What are the rules? I'm going to go with prologue first line. Can you see me? Cole yelled over to them. This is just not going the way I thought. Can you see me? Cole yelled over to them. Snooze. What's next? Sinland Ascends. I heard about this book when I very first started watching Booktube, so I don't have any recollection of who I heard it from, but this is a fantasy book that was way out of my comfort zone when I heard about it. It is still slightly out of my comfort zone, but I'm still very intrigued by the synopsis, which is: mild-mannered headmaster Thomas Senlin prefers his adventures to be safely contained within the pages of a book. Don't we all? So when he loses his new bride shortly after embarking on the honeymoon of their dreams, he is ill prepared for the trouble that follows. To find her, Senlin must enter the Tower of Babel, a world of geniuses and tyrants, of luxury and menace, of unusual animals and mysterious machines. He must endure betrayal, assassination attempts, and the illusions of the tower. And if he hopes ever to see his wife again, he will have to do more than just survive. This quiet man of letters must become a man of action. It just sounds so intriguing. Let's see if the first line measures up. Ooh, it's got a little map on the inside. That's intriguing. All right, chapter 1. It was a 4-day journey by train from the coast to the desert where the Tower of Babel rose like a tusk from the jaw of the earth. Now that is a first line. It's beautifully written. And it's intriguing. Where's the train going? And that reminds me of what I'm supposed to do if I were to stick to the rules that I think the other booktubers stick to. And that is she would read a first line, then she'd read a second first line, and then she'd battle those two together. That is what this is called, right? Battle of first lines. Rookie mistake. Okay, so between Can You See Me? Cole yelled over them and My Throat Tickles, I'm going to pick My Throat Tickles. And between My Throat Tickles and It Was a 4-Day Journey, etc., I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to put it on top. That's the winner so far. Let's move on. Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Tsukagawa. A charming tale of friendship, love, and loneliness in contemporary Japan. Super intrigued by this. Who knows? I might end up reading all of these. Who knows? Sentaro has failed. He has a criminal record, drinks too much, and his dream of becoming a writer is just a distant memory. With only the blossoming of the cherry trees to mark the passing of time, he spends his days in a tiny confectionery shop selling dorayaki, a type of pancake filled with sweet bean paste. Until, that is, Toku comes into his life. An elderly woman with disfigured hands and a troubled past, she makes the best sweet bean paste Sentaro has ever tasted. The unlikeliest of friendships blossoms, but it will take all of their resolve and plenty of pancakes to protect themselves when Toku's dark secret comes to light. So that sounds intriguing. Let's see if the first line measures up. A sweetly scented breeze blew along Cherry Blossom Street. I like it, but it doesn't beat Senlin Ascends. Let's try what's next, and that is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This one's a chunker. On a remote island in the Pacific Northwest, a Hello Kitty lunchbox washes up on the beach. Tucked inside is the diary of a 16-year-old Japanese girl named Nao Yusutani. Ruth, a writer who finds the lunchbox, suspects that it is debris from Japan's 2011 tsunami. Once she begins to read the diary, Ruth quickly finds herself drawn into the mystery of Nao's fate. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Nao, uprooted from her home in the US, bullied at school, and watching her parents spiral deeper into disaster, has decided to end her life. But first, she wants to recount the story of her great-grandmother, a 104-year-old Zen Buddhist nun, in the pages of her secret diary. ... It definitely has the same vibe of the Book of Form and Emptiness, how it's got all these kind of weird storylines going on. And is it coincidence that the main character is Ruth? Is it supposed to be Ruth Ozeki? Interesting. Anyways, let's see what the first line is. Okay, so the first line is, hi. I'm going to add a rule and say that if the first line is less than 3 words, I'm going to read the second line. Fair enough rule, right? You guys need to help keep me honest because I might forget it in the future. Hi, my name is Nao and I am a time being. Hi, my name is Nao and I'm in a time being. Very Ozeki weird line. Yeah, Senlin Ascends wins this one. Last one. Coyote Blue by Christopher Moore. A quirky, irreverent novel of love, myth, metaphysics, outlaw biking, angst, and outrageous redemption. That sounds very Christopher Moore. As a boy growing up in Montana, he was Samson Hunts alone, until a deadly misunderstanding with the law forced him to flee the Crow Reservation at age 15. Today, he is Samuel Hunter, a successful Santa Barbara insurance salesman with a Mercedes, a condo, and a hollow invented life. Then one day, shortly after his 35th birthday, destiny offers him the dangerous gift of love in the exquisite form of Calliope Kincaid, and a curse in the unheralded appearance of an ancient Indian god by the name of Coyote. Coyote, the trickster, has arrived to transform tranquility into chaos, to reawaken the mystical storyteller within Sam, and to seriously screw up his existence in the process. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this offers a fun and intriguing first line. While magic powder was sprinkled on the sidewalk outside, Samuel Hunter moved around his office like a machine, firing out phone calls, checking computer printouts, and barking orders to his secretary. Okay, that's definitely better than all of them except Senlin Ascends. How does it match up? I think those are the two that are going to be battling out for the winner. Let's try that again. While magic powder was sprinkled on the sidewalk outside, Samuel Hunter moved around his office like a machine, firing out phone calls, checking computer printouts, and barking orders to his secretary. And Senlin Ascends, one more time for the people in the back. It was a 4-day journey by train from the coast to the desert where the Tower of Babel rose like a tusk from the jaw of the earth. Yeah. This is it. This is the winner. This is going to be next. That's exciting. Yes, this is going to be next for May. So not exactly the same as a TBR video, but I think I liked how that went as kind of an experiment. Hopefully I'll be able to smooth out the edges the next time I do this. I was going to say if I do this, but I think I would do this again. It was kind of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Have you guys read any of these books that were featured in today's video? Or if you have any interest in reading them, which ones sound good to you? I would love to hear about it, or just say hi down in the doodly-doo. If you're still watching at this point, please consider giving that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be wonderful. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.